Hello and happy playoffs. Thanks for watching the Smite Draft League. Today we're bringing you some interviews from the Immortal division as we start the playoffs. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to check out twitch.tv/Smite Draft League, all one word, for the playoff action, and the VODs will get posted on YouTube afterwards. Thanks again.
Today we have Team Flourish here for Immortal division. You guys are currently, I think, in the third seat because you guys were tied for second, which means that you guys have a little bit of a long playthrough to go through here. First seed, I just interviewed them a couple minutes ago, honestly. Marco Wolf and Shady Bird. They're in the first seed as of right now, looking pretty strong. If you guys expect to get pretty far in this, you guys expect to probably meet up with them. How do you guys feel up against Sunbreakers, I believe is what team they are?
Well, they've been putting up a very good fight. Clearly, I don't even think they lost a set yet. Have they lost a set?
They have not lost a set. They've only lost one game within a set.
So they're looking very, very strong. So I would be stupid to say that I'm not nervous about going up against them again. But we've been working on some things to, I think, have a much better chance against them. So I don't know, going into it with a positive attitude.
Gotcha. Yeah, and Sunbreakers obviously is one of those threats, but the current threat against you guys would be Kingslayers. They're the 6th spot, probably not the best team in the league as of right now. Did you guys play them in the regular season? And if so, how did it go for you guys post?
We played against them week 4, I think, and we've kind of obliterated them. But it was fun. It was a fun set. Ramily CEO is a good buddy of mine. Has been for a few years now. So it was fun. It was kind of fun to see to have my boys versus his boys and just kind of mix it up a bit. So it was a lot of fun. But obviously they have Iba on their team now, so he's a very high skilled player. So they should provide much more of a challenge for us this time, and we're taking that into consideration for sure.
Gotcha. Let's talk a little bit more about the regular season, get away from the playoff picture. What team do you think gave you the most challenge throughout your regular season, if not Sunbreakers? Was there any other team that you're kind of looking out for? George Realty, yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah, honestly, Wild Inferno was a pretty good matchup for us. I know Fish is a good jungler, and so the jungler is kind of going to be the pacemaker of the game. So that kind of provided a challenge for us. And not to mention, Thokman is a really good ADC. But, we've been practicing, doing our due diligence just so that when we face him again, it's not going to be an issue.
Yeah, I think that Fish has been brought up in both interviews now. Probably one of the most dominant junglers. I think is the most dominant jungler by the casters and by the league coordinators. I think that's who they put as the top best jungler as of right now. Do you guys ban out his Susano? Do you guys ban out his Nemesis? How do you guys approach Fish in his jungle? Realty?
Yeah, so when we were playing, we did ban out a couple of his picks. I know his god pool is pretty large, but we did take away things like the Susano and Mercury and stuff like that. And so when it came to gameplay, honestly, just focusing Fish, and then, that'll kind of win you the game if you just take Fish out of the fight early.
Gotcha. I think that's exactly what Sunbreakers also said. So I think there's kind of a cordial thought towards Fish and his play style and stuff like that. Going into the playoffs, has there been any big changes that you guys have made throughout the season that you're hoping to see happen here? So, like, has your warding been better? Has your team comps been better? Comms, what has been improving throughout the last couple of weeks to make this playoffs maybe even a little bit better for you guys towards post-drama here?
So we've been working on our warding. Warding has definitely been an issue, and we're working on it. We're getting better at warding. And that's something that I noticed Sunbreakers does extremely, extremely well, is their warding is insane. If you look at objectives when they're warding, there's just wards all over the place. And they're there 30 seconds early, warding out our whole jungle, and that's a huge issue. So we're going to be trying to remedy that a little bit. Our communication has been lacking. We've been way too quiet, and so we're going to try and fix that as well. And just overall, following up on callouts, I think, is a big thing that we're going to try and fix as well. So callouts, wards, what else did I say?
Callouts and following up on objectives.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, that makes total sense. All things that easily can be improved upon. Sunbreakers kind of said one of their struggles was comms as well, but they have kind of come into a better position as the season has gone by. Obviously, I know that you had one of the most priority picks and you lost your first pick. How have you felt that your jungler at that time? That was in the beginning of the season for you, Post. Ever since that happened, it seems like you guys have actually turned it around a little bit and actually started winning through the middle of the season, being a lot more dominant here in the last couple of weeks especially. Do you feel that maybe it was God-given gift that you might have lost your jungler and actually picked up someone that may have been almost better?
Yeah, so it was a shot in the dark picking up Elixir. I didn't know him. He only played one match of Scouting Grounds, and he didn't even know that he was draft eligible. And so he got in here and he was like, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I was gonna tell you to go yourself. And we played a match with him and it went all right. And then he just bounced. So and then we got Zax in here, and Zax has been great. He's been putting in the work. He's tends to zone out and not communicate sometimes, but then he comes up with a solo kill out of nowhere. So, I can't really complain. And it's been going great. He's been. Oh, I almost let it slip. So we're working. So he's been doing something that's been costing us a little bit, and it's just a small decision making thing that we're gonna try and remedy. So we're gonna be working on that very very soon here. So, no complaints. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, your guys' playoff is looking pretty good. I honestly like your guys' positioning as far as the bracket goes here, because you guys are playing up against possibly not, obviously a team that you guys pretty much demolished in the first couple of weeks, and then you guys are up against either Wild Inferno or Let 'Em Cook. Have you guys heard about Let 'Em Cook as of yet, or the Challenger team? Because that would be pretty cool to go up against their team.
Nublet won't shut up about his his drop-in team. So, you know what? I hope that we go against them, just so I can rub it in Nublet's face that I beat his team. So,
of course. And last question will go towards Realty, of course, to go ahead and close this out. Realty, how are you feeling in mid? What kind of obviously I've been DMing you and asking you about a lot of the little secret things you've been doing with Morgan Le Fay and stuff like that. That was a while back. Obviously, the Warrior X build doesn't work on her as well as it used to. But should we expect to see something a little bit different from you possibly in the coming weeks because of the new patch that just happened literally today?
Oh yeah. I think protections are back, so you may see the axe build once again. Who knows? But yeah, I have a lot of things up my sleeve, a lot of new picks that you've never seen before, a lot of new builds that you've never seen before, especially with the nerf to pin.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All the pin items got really nerfed on physical and magical side, so I understand that entirely. So physical, obviously protections might come a lot more back into the meta again. But with that being said, let's go ahead and say the last thing here, which is Post. How do you guys? Where do you feel like you're gonna be? Do you think you're gonna win this all? Do you think you're gonna go all the way?
we're going all the way. We're taking the dub. That's it.
Right.
I just want to shout out to the boy Nublet. He's my boy, and I want to share. He is the boy, and he's my boy. I want to shout out to my coach, Blondie, and the Wolf Pack, and I want to shout out to my moms and my dads, and most of all, I want to shout out to my team, Immortal Flourish. You guys are the goats. That's it.
All right. We Post Drama and Reality. Thank you very much. And
Hello, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying Smite Draft League Season 2 playoffs. I'm Deelo, joined here now by two members of playoff contending team Immortal, Wild Inferno. We have the Master of Math solo laner, Physics, and their scary carry, Thawkman Jones. Thawkman and Physics, thank you guys very much for joining me. I hope you're all doing well.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I'm glad to be here. I like that. I like that. Scary math guy.
Yeah, man, he's the scary carry, and you're the math guy. It's
Mhm.
STEM all the way. Personally, I was never a big math guy myself, but I respect the grind. So, alrighty, I'm just gonna get on right into it, my friends. So I'm gonna start off with you, Thawkman. The name for the role alone conveys the pressure that a carry has to bear in a Smite game. It's hyper carry. What's the key to getting out of your own head when it comes to that, and making sure that you do your job despite the stakes that ride on you?
I think the biggest thing is not taking my ego too far. I think that is definitely the biggest thing. I try to take a lot of 1v1s that probably won't go as well, but I kind of have to dial it back a lot of times. So save it for the team fights late game.
That's a respectable. I gotta say, man, I've seen you do some of those 1v1s, and they seem to go pretty well for you a lot of the time. So you're being a bit humble, but that's a respectable thing to point out there for yourself. Always got to keep that ego in check, right?
Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you very much for that. Physics, my man, on to you. Just when it comes to general solo play over there, what is your biggest pet peeve to see in the solo lane when it's either played against you or in general? Either one works.
Well, pet peeve, I guess it could be just like canceling someone's back for no reason, even though I'm pretty guilty of doing that a lot.
Oh, look at
It's
you,
just-
man. All right.
Well, I mean, like, there's some stuff I don't like seeing. Like, I know the casters probably hated when I played solo back because it is boring to play against. But stuff like that, like solo back solo or RDO, is just like kind of a snooze fest. So just certain picks that are
So
boring
it sounds
to
like
me.
everything that you do, you hate.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, if it works, it works, right?
Hey, no, I can't argue that. There's a reason y'all are in the playoffs after all. So hey, can't argue with the results, right? Fair enough, my friend. Thank you. Okay, moving on to a bit more silly territory. So I've got Thokman. I've seen you commit like war crimes with the glaive. Do you ever feel pity for your opponent when you crit them down 100-0 in 3 hits? What goes through your mind, man?
A lot, considering I'm very loud when we play. So
I can
I mean,
respect that.
if you're in front of me, you're gonna die. It's just how it is.
Just how it is. All right, you
It's
know
just
what?
how
It's
it
a
is.
cold hard killer right there. Y'all better
Yeah.
watch out. This man's a sociopath. Nah, that's fair enough, man. Hey, that's your job, right? That's what you gotta do. Like my man Physics said, what wins wins.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. Physics, my man. Got one for you, buddy. So, ever since your week 6 game against Flourish, you've been under fire from a slew of allegations from 2 anonymous casters, ranging from
Yeah, Thor good.
to
Or bad.
Thor not good to Thor really bad. What is your response to the public?
I'll take my wins, and Thor is good, but sometimes not in the best hands. Sometimes I just be missing buttons, and that happens.
Fair enough. And hey, in the end, y'all ended up turning it around. Thor ended up being good. So once again, can't complain with that. Alrighty, carrying it right on. So if we just look into the round 1 playoff scene that we're setting here, you guys are looking to take on challenger team Let 'em Cook, which happens to be one of the teams that there are no casts of to date for you guys to research. When being stacked up against a team that you know is hitting the books on your strategies, but you don't have the same luxury, what's the mental approach that you take to that game? I'm looking for answers from either one of you. So we'll start with you, my friend Thokman.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, VOD review is a huge thing for us, especially against a lot of the teams that are, going undefeated or we know we're gonna have a trouble with. But when it comes to this, I mean, past the Smite guru on someone's recent games, I mean, you don't really get much, but I think we just go in and with the mindset of play our game. That's the biggest thing, is just play our game, because we know who we have on our team and we know what we can do when we're at our top play. So I don't think there's really anybody in the league that competes with that.
That's a respectable approach to take to it. Physics, anything to add there?
I mean, kind of like he's adding on to what he said, with just we're gonna play our game and we know what we have. It's just, for me, it's just confidence. I'm gonna come to the same mindset as if I was playing against anyone, whether they were like top team, challenger circuit, whatever. If they were godlike or whatever, I'm gonna come in with the same mindset and play style.
That's a fair approach as well. Thank you guys very much for your perspectives there. Appreciate it. All right, continuing right along here. So, casters, of course, if you guys have been watching your VODs, have had their fun with the patented Wild Inferno passive playstyle. Now, I don't want you guys to give away any super secret classified details here, but is there anything that we can expect when it comes to tactics and strategies coming into the playoffs? We're going to keep things the same. Going to be changing it up, maybe mixing up the pot. What you guys got?
I mean, the OBJ play is gonna, I guess, without giving too much away. I mean, as of recent, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I mean, it's gonna be 100% fire. We're ending games before 30 minutes. That's a fact. So that's just how it is gonna be.
If it's a late night cast, Jeffrey will certainly appreciate that. No, that's good to hear. I like always seeing some adaptability. Appreciate that. Alrighty, carrying on here. Anything else that you would just like to generally say to the audience before we start wrapping it on up? An autobiography you want to plug?
An autobiography I want to plug? I mean, I don't really have anything to plug. I guess sub to SDL on YouTube. Follow him on Twitter.
Hey, we like that. We appreciate that. Good looks, man. Alrighty, well, before you guys do go actually here, I do have one last thing that we at production here want to show you guys. Please direct your attention to the screens if you don't mind. that, my friends, is what you could be looking at here if you guys take these games. So it's been more motivation to see that beautiful, beautiful logoing appear there. Hopefully that puts a little bit of a, fire, you might say,
Oh yeah.
behind you guys to,
Yeah.
put extra effort to these games. But that being said, my friends, that will be all the time we have here today. Once again, I am Deelo, joined here by the lads of Immortal, Wild Inferno, Thockman Jones, and Physics. Thank you guys both very much for joining me. And best of luck, of course, in your playoff run. Looking forward to seeing you guys in action. For my people at home, thank you very much for watching. Stick around, of course, for more Smite Draft League playoffs action.
Today I am joined by the wonderful Sunbreakers of the Immortal Division. Remarkable Wolf is here, as well as Shady Bird, our jungler, and our ADC. Currently, technically, the captains of this team, if I can kind of say it. Super Sereno has not been around as much as you guys kind of expected him to be, probably in the beginning of this season. We don't need to explain why he's not here. Not really a problem, probably at the end of the day, for you guys are currently the best in the league. What has caused you guys to be number one in the league right now? I'll point this towards Remarkable Wolf as of right now.
Honestly, just, we are all pretty mechanically gifted players. All of us just kind of rolled with the flow together. My backline duo, Tenebreeze, goes by Kobe. Really fun to play with. Tatri, really good support. And then we got Shady over here to my right. Pretty good wingman in the jungle. He's living the dream in the jungle, honestly. You can go to any lane and get a kill. That's what you want out of a jungler. And then we got Josh, or Poseidon, over in solo, who's just been absolutely dominating everybody he goes against. So I think we're set up pretty good to continue our storyline throughout the league. A little unfortunate series of events to end out the regular season, but at the end of the day, that game didn't really matter. So here we are.
Yeah, you guys were already in your placement, had the position you guys wanted, basically. So we'll move on from that question on to what is something that you guys have improved upon throughout the season that has allowed you to be here as well. So there's obviously, you guys are a really good team. You have really good players in certain positions. Anywhere that Shady goes, he's going to get a kill, basically. But what is something that you guys were like, crap, we can't do this that well. We don't ward too well. We don't have a great composition kind of thing,
So, something that we didn't, we've had struggles like with some comms here and there, like, just either just trying to be decisive about some things and, trying to pick like, obviously what's the best option, specifically like a team fight or something, of that regard. But I think as of late, though, we've started to hone that in pretty well. I don't really see too many flaws. Our drafting, I think, has been pretty well. Like, we've done, obviously well enough to be first seed. So I don't think there's really too many issues there. And like Rama said, like, we're all pretty mechanically gifted. And I think it's shown with just how well we've been in this league.
Yeah, I assume that comms kind of come just with time and with a little bit of play together is kind of all it took from you guys, and then it was just there, basically. Someone's making the calls. I know that Wolf can be very loud in comms when he wants to be, especially when things are going well. It's very much so, go do this, go do that. And so I'm guessing objective calls have been very simple since the beginning, but I'm guessing team fights have always been the thing that you guys have had to grow and kind of come.
Our draft style is pretty set in stone. Like, it's not going to change. Buffs, everything is kind of fallen right into our hands exactly how you need it to be successful. The meta fits our hands perfectly. You can try to take advantage, but it's not going to work. That's all I'm going to tell you guys. Don't even try. Just let us play our gods and let us win the game.
Yeah. Do we ban Rama?
Yeah, do we ban Rama? Do we ban Kama? Do we ban Thor? Go ahead. Ban them all.
Yeah.
There's more there. But as far as objective calls, yeah, they're pretty easy. We got some players who can play the map pretty well. Know when to rotate out of lane, know when to stay in lane. If we fall behind, which very rarely happens, know how to catch back up pretty fast. But once we get the lead pretty much just goes till the game ends. As you can see with our game, I don't remember who, but we had a 10-minute fire giant, and then we didn't lose a fire giant for the rest of the game until the game was over. As far as team fights go, honestly, not really a problem. I record every game I play, so I can VOD review the match, and see what some of our mistakes were. But yeah, the comms are pretty there. Everybody's on the same idea. Calls actives together. Everything you need to be a successful team, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, and speaking of a successful team, you were the last pick in the draft.
I know.
Entirety of last pick, and you are now the top of the board. Is this
Started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah, literally. You guys, not you guys entirely, but it was mainly you, Remarkable, who was the last pick. How does it feel to be on the top of the board? You kind of knew this was coming since the beginning of the season, thinking that you might have been one of the last picks in Godlike or one of the first picks in Immortal, and instead now you're the top of Immortal, being the last pick in Immortal. Does that feel good to you?
You know, I expected to be at the top, to be honest with you. You know, I played against some of these guys last season. I was actually the number 1 overall last season, so I went from the first overall draft pick, eliminated in semifinals, to last overall draft pick, still in the semifinals. So, you know, did I expect to win? Absolutely. I expected to win last year and become back-to-backs, but didn't happen last year, so gotta make it happen this year.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I'm happy to see you here, of course, because I'm a big fan of yours. It was fun to make fun of you, of course, during the draft phase. Everyone was kind of on that boat, though. Let's go ahead and throw a question over here to Shady real quick. I got you to talk just a little bit. Out of all these list of teams here in the finals or in the playoffs, excuse me, you have Oathkeepers and Sanctified, who you guys will match up against next. Probably not the biggest of worries for you guys as far as these two teams go, but on this list, who are you guys actually a little bit worried about? Is there anyone?
I mean, obviously we played everyone except Wild Inferno. I mean, they're the second seed, so that's pretty. I think that's probably the only one. It's just because we haven't played them. I've watched all their games though. I've went on the YouTube, reviewed all the stuff, just looking at how they play, who they draft, that kind of thing. And personally, I mean, they're probably. I mean, they're number 2 seed for a reason. So I think that they're probably the only team to worry about, just because we don't have experience against them. But I still think, though, regardless of who we play, I think we'll be fine. I trust these guys. We've been playing real well all season, and I don't really see any of these teams becoming too much of an issue for us. I think we should be able to take this pretty easily.
Yeah, I expect that you guys will actually do pretty well. I expect to see you guys in the finals, right? You guys have one game you guys have to win. It's not even this week. It's next week that you guys have to win a game. So you guys have a break week. You guys can do some scrims. You can play some casuals, play some ranks, do whatever you guys want to do. Are you guys expecting to do anything? You guys gonna bring out anything new in the next set that you guys have against these 4 or 5 possible teams, or is it just gonna be the good old Thor, Remarkable Wolf on Rama, and then Heimdallr, and possibly who knows what out of you, Wolf?
Well,
Osiris?
I'm not gonna spoil. Yeah, hey, there you go. I'm not gonna spoil any draft strategies we got going into it.
Yep.
I mean, teams can do their own research, obviously, but as far as it goes, just gonna go in there, do what we gotta do, get the job done, get out 2-0, 2-0, 3-0, whatever, however many games we gotta play, just get the job done, get out of there, go back to work.
All
next
right.
season.
That's easy enough. You know, maybe you'll be first pick up next season again. You'll go from first to last. So first
who knows?
Yeah. If you're gonna have people that are impressive on your team and people that have impressed this year, Remarkable Wolf, you knew a lot about this. You know a lot about SDL. You know about people on your team as well. I know some of these. Are a lot of these people returning, or is this a lot of people's first year in the?
So, as far as my team goes, I think everybody on my team is first year for SDL except for me. I'm the only one who returned.
Well, you've been very blessed by very good players, actually. In their
I have. There's a reason. There's a reason we're continuing as a team going on forward after this season. So,
yeah. All right. Well, that's about 5 or 6 questions I've asked you guys. Any last statements towards how do you wish luck to Oathkeepers and Sanctified when they match up against you guys, possibly next week?
Oathkeepers, you know, got the boys over there. You got Slim the Rebel, my fellow backliner. You got Perspective Duck, Penta Duck, Perspective Suck, whatever you want to call them. I'm not worried about anybody on that team. I know how Slim plays. I know how they play. We played them without Tenebreeze, and we was able to 2-0 them. So with Tenebreeze, you never know what's going to happen. As far as the teams in the playoffs I'm looking forward to seeing you, Fish.
Oh, my goodness. Shady, anything you want to say to these two teams?
I mean, I'm number 2 ranked jungler from the casters here for a reason. So it'll be fun to verse Fish, see how this goes.
Yeah, and you guys, it's hard to ban out Fish. He's got a lot of gods in his pool.
No, it's not.
Okay,
You
come on.
You in the game. Come on
He's
now.
got a good nemesis as well, but we'll let it go. Fish is obviously a competitive jungler. He was number 1, correct?
Yeah, he was number 1 on the tier list and the first overall draft pick, and went with physics.
Yeah, Physics DZ and the Soul Inner. So, is that correct? Soul Inner, right? Physics?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Well, thank you to the Sunbreakers, two kind of co-captains as of right now. If Super Strata comes back, what are you guys going to do? Is he going to play?
Nah, he's too busy out partying. So it is what it is.
Gotcha. Okay, well,
He drafted such a good team. It don't matter.
Yeah, he did
So,
what he had to do in the first part and just kind of let it go after then. He actually got a good placement on the ranks as well, so that was pretty
Yeah.
cool to see. But, all right, well, thank you to your Remarkable Wolf on your top right-hand side over here, and then Shady Bro on the bottom right here, your jungler and your ADC for Sunbreakers. I appreciate you guys very much.
Nope. It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Yeah, anytime.
Hello, I'm here with Immortal Kingslayers. I've got Iba and Anime with me. I was about to call you both the jungler, and then it kind of clicked, but how are you guys? Thank you for taking the time to do this.
Hey, thanks for having us, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just get right to it. So coming in to playoffs, you're the 6th seed, and your season's been kind of wild. Kingslayers has had, I think, the most roster moves, if not close to the most roster moves for Immortal, and you're the latest addition, Iba, and you've also had a lot of roster moves. So what's the current group cohesion like? Because that is a lot of change to go through, but the last couple games you guys have had, you've certainly looked the strongest you've looked overall.
You know, we had a tough start of the season, bro. We really was like lacking with the shot caller, and so I tried to find a move to make to where we could get a good shot caller that would like bring the team around. And I played with Iba before, and I know that he's a really strong player, so I went out, tried to make a deal for him, and once we brought in Iba, it just really helped the team. He became the new shot caller, and we really all grouped around him as the leader.
Yeah, you had the Lana trade ready in your pocket for Steve. He wanted that all season.
Yeah, he was asking for it about every week.
And and how has it felt being on Kingslayers as opposed to your kind of rotation so far? Because you were on 2 teams before this, Eva.
Yeah, I do really like this team. Like, I think there's like, especially like a big thing for me is like synergy, like with the Soul Laner, because like that's like the main, like, you know, that's your engage. Like, if you have a good dive, then your backline is able to like free cast and all. So I think it's very important, especially like in a meta where, like, you know, like your ADC, your mid laner, like they're like very strong right now. So yeah, I do like this team a lot. Yeah, but I've kind of just been chilling. Yeah, it's a nice team.
Yeah, and when you need a solo lane like that, Billy's kind of like perfect for it because the god pool that he brings is perfect for being that frontliner.
Yeah, I do like the god pool that like it kind of like what do you call it? Complements like each other. No, both like kind of like dive characters. So that's really nice. And especially
I can
like
see it being a
with the rest of our
synergizing
team.
playstyle.
Yeah, like even like the rest of our team, like our mid like has characters that could get in there. Lucent is like, I don't know, bro. They got it. Lucent got it, man. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I've been talking about Lucent's Emoja since I started casting here, and still people fall into the trap in your picks and bans if they focus so hard in it they leave everything else open. So
Yeah.
And
Yep.
you know, let's talk about another member of your team. So Zarxith, kind of, I think she's one of the casters' favorite players to talk about, especially with the God pool and you know the Tiamat ADC that kind of got so much attention from Deelo and Jeering in this season. Are there going forward for the playoffs? I mean, obviously, I don't want you guys to give away too much, but going forward for playoffs, how are you planning on utilizing Zarxith and in particular her God pool? Because I mean, through SDL and all the other amateur leagues, her God pool's kind of crazy in what she can bring to the table.
To be honest, I mean, I could probably think of a lot of things, but you know, probably not gonna talk about that. But you know, probably like a good like I think that I think their God pool like fits definitely like with like what we want to do. They were talking about how they have like a wide God pool, so I think that like fits perfectly. So yeah, I think that they're a great player. I think that I think that they're probably the best mid laner like in the league. Probably like
I mean, it takes a lot to play mid in
Or-
ADC and make it work too earlier on in the season. So that says a lot about the mid lane there, you know.
Yeah.
I will say about Czar. Obviously, y'all know the team out is really strong, but we're kind of a dive-heavy comp, like a dive-heavy team. We love going in aggressive, and over these last couple scrims, she's shown that she's able to do that with a lot of different other gods. So we're feeling pretty good about that going into playoffs.
Yeah, that's something that, and you know, I certainly won't spoil your plans either, but that's something that I'm aware of from watching, you know, the other amateur leagues and not seeing that much Tiamat, but still seeing her get double-digit kills every time. So definitely kind of a secret weapon that you guys have. And we talked about, you know, revealing your secret plan. So let's talk a bit more about who you're actually facing. So you're going up against Flourish. I mean, again, don't give away too much, but how are you guys feeling going into that matchup?
Oh, I'm feeling pretty good, man. Like, I won't lie. My match history is looking pretty rough right now, but beforehand, I was feeling pretty good. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've been playing really good. Hopefully Smite does like another patch where they buff jungle. That'd be really fun. So, I don't know.
Let them have
Certainly, Flourish is they're a pretty strong team. We almost beat them in the past set, and that was with a whole different team, and we feel a lot more comfortable and strong about this team, I'd say. And we kind of took them to the brink game one with the original team that we had. So I feel pretty strong in our ability to, you know, dom lanes and just play around objectives a little bit stronger than what they can. So
awesome. I mean, hey, that's what we love to see because that's what will make it competitive. Because I'm sure, you know, they're saying the same exact things about you, just different versions. So for the last question, I just want to make it a bit more fun. So you guys, I feel like, especially with the current team composition and what you mentioned with comms, if you could go out to a party with your whole team, you're all out at a party together, and you could have one god or one goddess join the party with you, who would you guys pick?
Kumbhakara.
yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Kumba be a party.
So quick with that.
Kumbhakara's the man to bring,
which
bruh.
skin though are you taking pajama party?
I might take the pinata one, bro. He kind of like life of the party with that pinata
That's
skin,
true,
man. You know.
And
Or
his
maybe,
passive works good to be a pinata for the party.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
Bacchus would be pretty good too. You know, Bacchus. He's got a.
I know Cupid would be funny, bro. His head is, I don't know, his head just look weird, bro.
I'd probably start laughing a little, bro. To be
Bring
honest.
Cupid to the party just to make fun of him. I'm sure Cupid's 100% into that.
I would have we put like food on his head and stuff since he like floats and stuff. That'd be pretty cool. You could do like party tricks.
Well,
That'd be funny.
Yeah, hopefully for the sake of your party, Cupid's into the degradation of it. But I think that's a perfect ending question. Thank you guys so much. Do you have any final things you want to say before your first round of the playoffs?
Just want to say best of luck to Immortal Flourish. You know, I know you guys are a strong team, so let's try to make it the best series we can.
Shout out to the production team. You know, this is I think that the production has been very nice this season. It's been
Thank you.
cool and all. And also, you know, yeah, good luck to everybody. Yeah.
Awesome. That's an awesome note to end it on, guys. Thank you so much and good luck. I mean, I'm not trying to throw myself under the bus, but at the beginning of the season, my top 2 had Kingslayers in it, and my second top 2
Yeah, we know. Anthony, a big Kingslayers fan, man.
You gotta bring me back into the good graces for the playoffs. So hope you guys.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, for
We're gonna try our best, man.
Heck yeah! And again, thank you guys, and good luck.
Yep, thank you.
Thanks, man.
Hello, and welcome to an interview with Immortal Sanctified. I hope you're enjoying the playoffs so far. I have Dracul and Solzy with me. Thank you guys so much for joining me for a bit.
No problem. It's
pleasure to be here.
All right, so let's just get right to it. So you guys, I mean, I feel like I have a big part of the lore creation for this, so I'll take a slight humble brag for it. But you guys are a very smart team, and we've made that evident on every cast we've had at Sanctified, and that is kind of, I think, something that you guys make evident in nowhere more than picks and bans. I feel like you're a team that a lot of times can win or lose your game in the draft. So, and, you know, this is obviously going to be an overarching thing without giving too much away. I'm not asking you to spoil any strats. How are you guys approaching that for a playoff set where, matter of factly, the picks and bans and the set determines your entire season?
So coming into sort of just before playoffs, I started doing a little bit more research into the other teams. What I've tended to do so far this season is rectify a mistake I made last season, which was show all my cards too soon. So I've got some aces up the sleeve, which I'm hoping to pull out during playoffs to surprise some people. And I'm just going over the VODs of other teams of my upcoming challenges. So we've got Oathkeepers first round, and then the notorious Sunbreakers in the semis if we do get past the Oathkeepers. So I'm already looking at VODs for both of the teams, to the point where if I watch a VOD, it's not just a case of watching the VOD and you guys cast for the full set. There's multiple times that I will go back and repeat the same 2 minutes about 6 or 7 times, so I can see exactly the nitty gritty and the technical aspects of what I can exploit and what we can exploit as a team.
I mean, that's the smartest way to do it. You won't find any more vital information than looking, at the black and white of the games. So that's definitely the best way to do it. And you mentioned that first you do have to go against Immortal Oathkeepers, and they had a rough start to their season, but they definitely are coming on strong at the end. I mean, and that's before you even mentioned the fun stuff with the pentakills and just the overall action, but they've really figured it out as they're going on. And you guys had a similar story. You had some team changes at the beginning, but you've been pretty strong and cohesive since. Is there anything with your matchup against Immortal Oathkeepers in particular? Is there a group mindset? Is there a we're trying to avoid falling into traps of fights? Is there something as a group you guys are already prepared for, like, we know how to deal with this?
Well, we luckily enough, Immortal Oathkeepers was one of our last games of the season. So we obviously had 2 week 7 games, but Oathkeepers were our game that we played on week 6.
Right?
Yeah. So it was sort of Oathkeepers week 6. So we're coming in from that, which thankfully we did win that set 2-1. So we're coming in with a bit of confidence because we've already beaten them 2-1. Obviously we'd like to make it a 2-0 and rectify that one as a mistake that we made. We talked about the mistake that cost us that game literally after the set anyway. So we're already sort of aware of what we need to do against that team in order to make it a comfortable 2-0.
Awesome. Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before, but those little things are what's going to make the difference as much as one play. I mean, you can look at your set against Wild Inferno with winning off of that backdoor as those types of moments that they culminate enough. I mean, ultimately, a set's made up of 3 games, and any one game can be decided by one small thing. So with obviously us playing online, because we certainly don't have the budget for lands at the moment, most of your team, I don't know if all of your team, so please correct me on that, but most of your team is playing on ping. How does that factor into both your drafts and just overall your team's playstyle?
So it does factor in quite significantly. So out of our starting roster, 3 out of the 5 are on ping. So it's myself, Solzy, and Blizzard. All 3 of us are EU. So all 3 of us are on ping. And when you think about it, it's 2 quite significant roles that are playing on ping, being mid and ADC. So we've definitely had to take it into account in our picks and sort of matchups that we're looking at, because there are certain gods that you try and play them on ping and it's just absolutely horrible. You just can't do it. So we have had to take that into account. Playstyle wise, I mean, all 3 of us quite regularly, when we're either chilling together and playing together or we're on our own, we'll switch up onto the NA servers and actually play on the NA servers, not just our home servers, just so we can get used to the ping and we don't drift too far off of what it is, so we can try and adapt our playstyles to how we play on home server to how we play on NA server, and we can sort of try and drag our playstyle over to it as best as we can.
I mean that sounds more than the logistical approach, and yeah, I get it being mid in ADC. That's not easy, and I guess it makes things like the Hou Yi certainly make a lot more sense in hindsight, even if they do work overall. And we haven't gone to you much, but Solzy, I'm just curious, of all the mages that you could play on ping, do you have some favorites? I mean, I know your God pool is one of the better ones of the mid lane, so I'm curious if there's one that like you're like, God, I'm just never touching this. And again, obviously, if it affects something like a picks and bans, feel free to skip over it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I think for the most part, I can play anything in mid. As we've seen, like last season as well, where I pulled out Anubis in the mid lane as well. Ping doesn't factor too much whenever it comes to those sort of gods, but the likes of Morrigan or Vulcan, for example, anything that has a quick fire ability with some form of movement, there's about a 2-second delay before that fires sometimes. So just essentially anything with big circles, I'll play mid.
I mean, that's probably the safe approach, and it is impressive. Maybe one day we'll have to force an EU server tournament just to get you guys some bragging rights. So for the end here, for like a more fun one, and we'll make it a two-parter since we're zooming through, because once again you're just proving just to be the tactical bunch. If you guys could pick any god or goddess and have them on your team as a member in comms, who would you each pick? And we'll start with you, Dracul.
Ooh, that's a tough one,
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Any god. Honestly, for me, this would be being a little bit greedy, but for me, Khepri, because it means I can press W more.
Yeah, that's pretty smart. I feel like Khepri would be so like reassuring in comms too. Like you could be feeding your brains out, and Khepri is probably telling you, "Great job."
Oh yeah, he'd be all love. He'd be all love.
100%.
He'd be ulting me when I press 2W. He won't get mad at me when I int my brains out. It'll be chill.
That's a perfect answer. What about you, Solzy?
Oh, right. That is a tough one.
I'm sure it's not a mage because they're stealing your.
No, it's definitely not a mage.
So that's just out of the question. For me, I think I'd go the same answer. I'd go for different teams interview. I'm taking Soul in the comms, but it's probably just the two of us. We're playing Joust, the two of us, 100%. Not ashamed.
Honestly, probably Fenrir. Every time he goes in, I just scream, what the dog doing,
Yeah, Fenrir does have the personality of a hyper aggressive jungler, just feeding his brains out, but like also getting 25 kills.
Yeah, a plenty kill if you're certain players.
Yeah, true. I guess it depends on where they decide to place themselves on the map. But we'll do a bit of a final statement from you guys here. So with everything we talked about, and like you guys are already looking forward to semifinals and finals, as you well should, as every team should. What's your final statement towards the rest of Immortal and towards everybody watching the playoffs?
If I had to say something, I'd say don't underestimate us. We had a rocky start to the season, but like I said earlier, we haven't played all of our cards yet. And I would like to remind the rest of the teams that we are actually the only team currently to beat Sunbreakers in a complete set. Not just take one game off them, take two. So take that into consideration when you are coming against us.
That's a pretty powerhouse statement at the end. Is there anything you want to add, Solzy?
Well,
I know it's tough to follow.
I'm pretty sure Drac is labeled everything out, but again, we came in with a rocky start, but we also dethroned the undefeated team, so keep that in mind going into the tournament.
Hey, I like that. We love that energy, and we certainly love having you guys. So thank you so much for talking with me, and I certainly wish you both the best of luck, and I cannot wait to watch your games get played. Hello, hope you are enjoying the playoffs so far. I'm here with Immortal Oathkeepers. I've got Alec or Cosmic Vibes with me, and I've got the legendary Ken Akamaru, who's actually playing a game right now. So as soon as he panics from feeding, you know what to blame. How are you guys doing? Thank you for.
I appreciate being referred to as legendary.
Of course. You were the first person to flame me as a caster when I started casting things, so I gotta give you the respect you deserve.
We've had an arc, you know.
For sure, yeah.
We've had our hatreds, we've had our loves. It's mostly love right now.
100%. Well, I guess we'll see, depending on how the questions go, right? All right. Well, first, let's just start nice and easy. So you guys had a very rough start to your season. The first game didn't exactly look clean, but you guys had a very progressive arc of getting better and better and better as time's gone on. What exactly do you attribute that to? Was it just comfort with each other? Was it something else? What was going on there?
Ken, I can start if you'd
Yeah,
like.
you go for it.
Yeah, I would definitely say it was a comfort thing for sure. I'll take as the main shot caller on the team. I'm typically a mid laner, so when Slim said, "Hey, you're gonna be a support this season," I went, "Okay, sure." So,
Okay.
so it took I think a little bit of time for me to get a little bit comfortable in shot calling through the support role. It was something I really wasn't comfortable with at the beginning of the season, but I think as the team's gotten a little bit more comfortable with each other too, it's become a lot easier.
Yeah, I think I'm not super sure about the other three. I know most of us were completely new to teaming with each other. Like Warcrier and Duck played together last season, but other than that, I'm not sure if we have any history that with that much playing with each other. And so coming into the season, we were pretty fresh, but we also knew like we gelled well enough that we were confident that we would be a really big team going into playoffs and things like that.
Right.
And so we were pretty confident that against a really strong team like that, we'll know what we're going to be against later. And so we'll just keep getting stronger every week. And that's what we did. It's been like amazing growing together as a team.
Yeah, the progression is crazy for you guys because the first set, I mean, from the first top 2 picks that the casters did, I had you guys on there with Kingslayers. For Immortal, I kind of went with like team vibes. I felt like would work. And for the first game, I was kind of like defending myself to the production team. But by now, I'm looking pretty good.
Can't let you down.
Sitting there. But so what would you say? Since you guys have grown, you're getting very cohesive, and obviously now, like you get, your guys' team chat, your team comms, everything's a lot of fun now. When it comes to just the two of you in particular, what would you say about each other? And we'll start with you, Alec. What does the other person bring to the team?
Oh,
Ken brings a lot, really. I'd say Ken is my second main man in terms of the comms. So like if I'm getting a little quiet and we're maybe not so sure about what we're doing, Ken is very quick to step up and take control, which I appreciate a lot. And I think as we've been getting a little bit more comfortable together, playing together, we've kind of been just meshing really well in terms of our support jungle rotations. They've been really fun, and I've kind of just been enjoying playing with Ken a lot. Really, in the jungle
at the enemy blue buff, waiting for it to spawn like it's your own.
It's fun.
And what about you, Ken? So how you feeling about Cosmic? Is the love the same?
So coming into the beginning of the season, it's tough going with like new supports because it's like I feel like that's the role where you see the most individual impact, just like in playstyle and things like that. But I gotta be honest, man. When I heard Cosmic's voice talking for the first time, and we were vibing out together in those games, like I think that first scrim might have been the most fun I've ever had playing Smite. This guy is just such a joy to play with. The calls are amazing. I remember when we had our Wild Inferno game, Cosmic said, "Guys, this game's personal for me. We're gonna run it down. We're gonna do this." And that was when the blue buff calls started coming out, and it was just like it was so cool, man. I've never felt so carried before in my life as a jungler. Like, it's amazing.
I mean, that's huge. I mean, if you can go back to like the OG seasons of SPL, and that's the traditional shot caller roles. I mean, nowadays, you get a lot of like hearing that Zapman's a shot caller at ADC or whatever, but back in the olden days, it was always jungle support. That was the true way of looking at it. So, on the topic of comms, you seem to have a lot of fun, but let's try to let's zero in on it. So, I have a two-part question. Part A, what happened with the Bok? Where did that come from? What's to blame? And B to that question is, so when Mr. Pentaduck got the Penta, what were the comms like then?
Ken, go for part 1. I can answer part 2.
All right, so Bok, I don't remember the details, but I'm pretty sure like Cosmic, you were playing Horus and we're trying to decide what skin you were using.
Yes, correct.
And so we get a little goofy in scrims. We just we fool around a little bit. We have a lot of jokes. But the Bok kind of just came out. Cause was like, oh, should I play the Bok? And I think it was Warcry. He just pops in with the Bok. It just all devolves from there. Where like our comms are very yes and with each other. And so when something happens, we just keep going with it until it dies.
I love that. When I was in high school, I taught improv classes on Wednesdays. So you're always gonna win me over with a yes and statement.
Yeah, and then jumping into the Penta, I mean, I think we were all really focused in on that team fight to make sure we win. Obviously, it was really important. And when I got plucked out, when I got plucked out really early, I was like, oh my god, like I'm dead here. Like this is surely I don't live here. I did end up living, and I was so focused on like surviving and going to peel as soon as Fish came into like the back line that I was just not even focused on the fact that Duck was just shredding the other team.
I don't think
it was
any
a
of us
4v5
noticed
as well. You guys didn't even have Croc in the fight.
Yeah, no, it was really crazy. And you know, I didn't even know, like, when it came up and it was really weird, it kind of was like, on our screen when it came up, it was like, pentakill, quadra kill. So it like jumped to penta, then to quadra because it was immediately. Well. And as soon as that quadra kill came off, Duck was like, "Where is he? Where is he? I gotta find the 5th man." And I'm like, "No, dude, you killed all of them. I swear. Like, you got the penta." He's like, "No way," you know. And everyone was like really excited, and I was kind of like, you know, super hyped for probably a good 2-3 minutes. And I was like, "All right, we got to bring it back in. Like, let's win this game. Like,
normally
we gotta
games
win."
end off that. That game went on a while.
Yeah, it did. No, so I was like, all right, let's just bring it in. Like, we still gotta win. Like, the Penta's gonna be cool, but if we lose, it's not gonna be as cool. So we gotta win this game.
I love that. I guess, Ken, I guess you got like some kind of lucky charm to yourself. I mean, last season it was the Z-Tan Penta, apes together strong. This season you got the Bok Penta Duck.
I was also playing Humbots that game. So maybe, I don't know. Maybe that's just my blessed pick.
Apparently so. All right, so let's going off of blessed. Let's talk cursed. So, heavy ward crimer. Is there plans for some wards to be placed in the playoffs? I mean, or is he sticking by his? And if he's sticking by his guns, I respect it. But is there plans to place some wards on the map?
And I'll jump in. I think Warcrier is gonna do what Warcrier wants to do. We love him, and I think you've seen from games before, he always catches a lead in the solo lane, and then he just does whatever he wants to do for the rest of the game. Like, you'll see him 1v5ing, you'll see him super far away from us, just unkillable, like, creating so much space for the rest of the team. It's really crazy. And, you know, I gotta give him a point. You know, every time he does place a ward in a game, he doesn't perform as well. So maybe we just stick to 0 wars, and it'll just carry us through.
There's a method to the madness.
I think so, yeah.
All right, well, let's hit the one like moderately serious question I have. So for bracket-wise, your first match, you're facing off against one of the smartest teams, being Sanctified, in terms of how they prepare for a game. I know you guys also have your own, you know, evil genius on the team as well. But my question here is, as tough as that is, how are you guys preparing without giving too much away? As against Sanctified, I think an obvious thing with them that isn't giving away anything for them, because they'd say the same thing, they definitely win and lose their games in picks and bans, when you guys are much more of an on-the-field type of team.
Yeah. I mean, Sanctified is one of those teams that I feel like I can't predict that much personally. Just because it feels like they have really exploitable mistakes, but at the same time, they're like, they always surprise you with pulling something out that you don't expect. So their preparation is like crazy good. I got it to respect, even if they're playing 5 big circles, you know.
Right. At least they're on ping too.
But I don't know. I feel like I feel like our matchup into them is good. And the circumstances around our last set, just we kind of came in a little weaker than we should have, and we just won't do that during playoffs. And so I think if we just pull it together the way we play the game, it should be a real good matchup into them, like we saw into our game 2 versus them. But I don't know. You never know what a team like that's gonna pull.
For sure. And Alec, you look like you're itching with something to add on to this too.
Yeah, my short add-on is like we're not going to play at 10 p.m. on a Sunday anymore. That's really
A 3-game set that goes to midnight.
Yeah, we finished the game at 12:30, and Duck had worked, like a 10-hour shift all weekend, Friday through Saturday, Sunday. We came in, we were pretty exhausted, so I went, all right, we're not playing at 10 on a Sunday anymore. Like, let's try to get these games a little bit earlier, and we have it scheduled. I think for well, I don't know when this will come out, but tomorrow at 7, which is a prime time, I think, for all of us. So I'm really excited to actually play the team when we're kind of all at our prime.
Mm-hmm.
For sure, yeah. I'm excited for this matchup because, like I said, it's kind of you guys kind of match each other's not weaknesses, but so much as your differences, and that's a really interesting matchup to see. All right, so for the final one, it's a bit more fun. If you could take on any team in any of the playoff brackets for Immortal, but not on in the game, if you could take them and go party with them, which team would you guys pick?
I mean, I feel like Cosmic and I especially are pretty close with Divine Dark Omen.
Oh, okay.
If we got a party with any team, like those guys are the vibe.
I would have to agree. I got some IRL homies that are on that team that I've known for a while, and we do mesh really well. I know you said Immortal. You're gonna have to give me a second. I'm really bad with the team names, to be honest with you.
You're good. There is a lot.
I know, and I've been meshing a lot. You're gonna have to forgive me for the team name, but Fish and Thokman's team.
Oh, Wild Inferno.
Yes, Wild Inferno. I've been meshing a lot with them. Like, I love them. I love Thok. I think Thok has some great energy. I think he'd be super fun to play.
He was interviewed chronologically. They probably air out of order, but we interviewed him as well, and he was pretty awesome in his interview.
He's loud.
Yeah,
he's loud, and I appreciate that a lot, especially in like in a comp setting. Some of that's a little bit loud and isn't afraid to make a lot of noise.
Yeah,
or people I like playing Smite with for sure, and probably even more to party with, to be honest. So.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll ask one short add-on since you guys were my longest interview. Anyway, you've got Ken's got Apes Together Strong in his back pocket. You guys got Bok Bok. Are we rolling in the finals? Are we we the Coop gang? We coming up with something new?
Oh. You never know what evolves during playoffs, huh?
You say we feeling it out. If I see the Hoombox,
what new animal gets added to the
coop? I don't know. I think you'll just have to wait and see. I trust you.
We'll create a YouTube short if something comes out.
There you go.
It'll come forward.
Any final thing either of you guys would like to say?
Good luck in finals. Whichever other team makes it.
I like that. I like the energy.
Yeah, I just want to say. I also want to say thank you to the casters and thank you to the to everyone running the server. This is my first season in, and it's really been great. Like, it's super professional. So really, I'm not trying to make any favorites or anything. But
no,
you guys
for sure.
have been,
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
and I mean that's the goal. We want to make it as close to, feeling like you're actually competing in a professional league as we possibly can. So if that's how you feel at the end of the day, then that means it's a goal achieved. So thank you for that.
It's so much fun.
Heck yeah. So I guess I can expect both of you for season 3 coming back then.
I think I'm taking a break for season 3 personally, because
so
I got
with
work coming up and things like that. Oh yeah.
Caster
if
Ken.
I get the chance, Caster Ken. Season 4 though.
Okay.
That's the great
mark
comeback.
That one down
That's
sure.
that's the story arc wrapping up. Coming back for the 2-time.
Ooh, okay. I like that. Like I said, I like the energy, and I think that's a good note to end it. Thank you guys again, Immortal Oathkeepers. Best of luck from the production team. Thank you for taking the time to talk to me, and hope you guys are enjoying playoffs so far.
Thank you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.